Nathan Cruz here, Director of the Precision 3D Division at Carlson Software. And here I'm going to talk a little bit about specialized 3D printing support that we've built into the P3D platform. It's one thing to be able to take these large surfaces and export all of them as an object file or as an STL file, which we certainly have the ability to do. But what that would end up doing is creating one large, it'll create one STL file. And on lower cost printers that cost less than $1,000 or so, all you're going to get is about a 7-inch by 5-inch little piece of plastic where it's kind of hard to make out the details. And so we've created a specialized feature in P3D that is export the scene to a 3D printer. And really what that does is it still exports STL files, but what it's going to ask us for is the folder that we want to use. And here I'm going to use US68 merge print. And it's going to ask for a file name. So here I'm going to call this _4 chunks. What I'm going to do is, instead of printing this out in one grid, what I'm going to do is break this surface up into 4 quadrants, and they're going to be equally sized and equally spaced so that you can import them into the 3D printer software and print 4 chunks. So we're going to do two rows and 2 columns. I'm just going to select OK. And what that's going to do in the background, which is already finished, it's going to go ahead and create these 4 STL files. Chunk 0 and 1, basically, we start at the lower right-hand corner and work our way across the screen. So chunk 0, 1, 2, and 3. And so now what I'll do is go ahead and import that into the 3D printing software. In this case, I'm using it's actually a 2-color printer that is an inexpensive PVC extruder style printer, and I'm going to import that first chunk. And we're gonna auto resize this first piece. And this is an important thing to remember, is to, if we do the auto scale and you don't manually set the size, what you want to make sure that you do is on the next chunks that get imported, they may have a slightly different auto scale. But what you can do is make sure that you record this size on the first chunk. And the important ones are this X and Y. Z is going to vary anyway because we have topology that has varying elevations, obviously. But the important thing, so that your chunks will line up correctly, is to write down the dimension for your X and your Y on your first piece. And then that way, and just so you can recognize this piece, you'll notice this has got the big deep pond, and it's got part of the dam section. An interesting thing that Precision 3D will do is if you have solids and other objects in here, such as trees and cars and so forth, will automatically include those in the export if they're in the scene. If you have pipes and head walls that happen to cross these boundaries, and we put nice side skirts down on the sides of these surface models for printing, what we'll do is we'll cut those objects off so that they basically have nice clean breaks in between. And so this is the first chunk, and basically it's ready for printing. And now what I will do is show you what this piece and the adjacent piece up here to the north of this particular property, so it'll show the other side of the dam. I'll go ahead and show you the results from that 3D print.